Good evening, church. We welcome you to another midweek, another thing we call COVID Chronicles. Let us know where you're watching from. Come on. Don't be afraid to worship with us and sing your heart out. Come on, let's sing. Yeah. When night has fallen, when fear is calm, still you're calling me. When faith is lost, my hope exhausted, you will be my strength. When my mind says I'm not good enough, God, you're enough for me. I've decided I'm not giving up, 'cause you won't give up on me. You won't give up on me. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo, echo in my soul. In every season, you keep repeating promises to me. Whoa, now there's no stopping what you have started until it is complete. When my mind says I'm not good enough, God, you're enough for me. I've decided I'm not giving up, 'cause you won't give up on me. You won't give up on me. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo, echo in my soul. Soul, in my soul. Soul, when my mind says I'm not good enough, God, you're enough for me. I've decided I'm not giving up, 'cause you won't give up on me. You won't give up on me. Come on, sing. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out, breaking out. Woo! Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo, echo in my soul. Soul, in my soul. Soul, yeah. Jesus. You're faithful through the ages. God of Abraham, you're the God of covenant, of faithful promises. Time and time again, you have proven you'll do just what you said. Though the storms may come and the winds may blow, I remain steadfast and let my heart learn when you speak your word, it will come to pass. Great is your faithfulness to me. to me. From the rising sun to the setting same, I will praise your name. Great is your faithfulness to me. Oh, yeah. Though seasons change, you remain the same. Yeah, God from age to age, though the earth may pass away, your word remains the same. Yeah, your history can prove there's nothing you can't do. You're faithful and true. Though the storms may come and the winds may blow, I'll remain steadfast. And in my heart, learn when you speak your word, it will come to pass. Great is your faithfulness to me. Oh, great is your faithfulness to me. From the rising sun to the setting same, I will praise your name. Great is your faithfulness to me. Oh,
Your faithfulness never runs out.
God.
Never runs out. Oh God, you're faithful, Lord. Faithful till the end. It never runs out.
Never runs out.
Never runs out.
Never runs out.
I put my faith in Jesus, my anchor to the ground, my hope and firm foundation. He'll never let me down. I put my faith in Jesus, my anchor to the ground, my hope and firm foundation. He'll never let me down. I put my faith in Jesus, my anchor to the ground, my hope and firm foundation. He'll never let me down. I put my faith in Jesus, my anchor to the ground, my hope and firm foundation. He'll never let me down. Never let me down. No, you never let me down. Great is your faithfulness to me. In every season there is your faithfulness to From the rising sun.
From the rising sun to the setting same, I will praise your name. Great is your faithfulness to me.
I love that thought that great is his faithfulness to you and to I. And I think that's an important thing for us to realize right now, is that in the midst of everything that we're facing, you know, it doesn't matter if it's COVID or if it's job loss or if it's sickness or if it's frustration in relationships or whatever it is that we're facing in life, great is his faithfulness to us. And I don't know if you understand this tonight, but I need every single one of us to know that he is faithful, that he shows up and he shows off only in the way that God can in the midst of our circumstance and our situation. And just when we think it's not possible, that nothing can change, come on somebody, he changes everything. In one moment, all of a sudden, everything changes. And that is the glory, that is the power, that is the mightiness of God. And I don't know where you're at tonight on this Thursday night, wherever you're watching from. I just want to encourage you in this moment that He is faithful. That He's faithful to His promises, that He keeps on showing up even when we think He's not going to show up. Why? Because it's not about how we would do things, it's about how He does things. And He's faithful to His promises. And so I want to pray for you tonight. I want to pray for us tonight. You know, things are changing. New seasons are coming. New moments are on the horizon. I believe that with everything that I am. And I just want to believe tonight in faith as we stand with one another in this moment, that He would continue to be faithful, because we know He will be. Like, we can rest on the truth of His word, that He is faithful in every single moment, in every single circumstance, every single day. He is faithful, even when it doesn't look like it. That's the crazy thing about it, is that we have our perception of things, we have how it looks to us, but He's still working. We sing this song even when we can't see it. He's working. Even when we can't feel it, He's working. Why? Because He's faithful to His promise. He's faithful. We can rest in that. We can trust that tonight in this moment. So wherever you're at tonight, I want to encourage you. Come on, would you just lift your hands with us? Would you just lift your voice with us as we just pray in this moment, ask God to do what only He can do. And so Jesus, right now we lift up every circumstance. We lift up every situation. God, we lift up all the fears and all the frustrations that are in front of us. God, we just give it over to You. We know that You're faithful to Your promise, that You are faithful to that which You have declared. And You've declared so much. And even in situations and circumstances when we can't see it, God, we know that You're still working. And so we anchor ourselves tonight to You. You are our sure and steadfast anchor for our soul. God, I ask You tonight, for everybody who's watching tonight, and those even who aren't, God, I just pray I lift up job situations to You, and I lift up the circumstances that we are facing. Those who are sick tonight, God, we just ask that You would heal, that You would do what only You can do. And God, I just pray that You would teach us tonight, that You would guide us tonight, that You would do a new work in our lives. God, that tonight we would leave this moment with more joy and more peace and more expectancy than we had walking into. And I just thank You for another moment of the COVID Chronicles, God, that we can gather together online tonight and that we can lift Your name high, that we can trust that You are faithful to Your promises. We pray all this in Your mighty name. Come on, wherever you're at tonight, would you just shout amen? Shout amen in the comments. It is so good to have you joining us tonight. Team, we love you guys. Thank you so much. Come on, can we shout the team down tonight? Just online in the comments, let them know that you love them. But it is so good to have you here. Please, please, please let us know where you are joining in from tonight. Engage in the conversation. That's the interesting moment that we are in right now, is that church is online. These moments are online. And so whether you're watching via Facebook or YouTube or however you're joining in tonight, if you're a part of a watch party, we'd love for you to let us know where you're at. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube and like our Facebook thing. What is that thing called? Facebook thing. That's what it is. It's the Facebook, right? Make sure that you like it so that we know that you're with us. But this is how we're doing family right now. I will say I'll make a few announcements in a few minutes, and it looks like some things are changing ahead of us. But just one more time, we love you guys. Thanks, team, so much. And man, it's just so awesome to be able to worship with these guys. It's different. It's a new reality that we're in. But man, it's the power of God's in this place and in this moment. And Pastor Andrew is already up here. Two guys in black coats. That's what we're doing tonight. Yep. Two guys in black coats. So I'm going to take a seat, and we're going to get ready for all the stuff that we're going to be digging into tonight. Say what's up, bro.
What is up, everyone? How you guys doing? It's good to be here. Part two. This is part two. I bet you didn't know that me and Pastor Jason were going to do another kind of COVID Chronicle moment.
Guys, this seat.
It's amazing.
I'm struggling with this seat.
You're doing great.
They were making fun of me. So it is so good to have everybody here tonight to join in the awkwardness of our seating. So, but we've got some announcements that we want to make before we get started tonight. If you are joining with us for the first time, this is the COVID Chronicles After Dark.
Yes,
that's the new vibe after dark, and so we love what's happening with this reality. But I do have to tell you that this may be a sad moment, but we've got 2 more weeks of the COVID Chronicles, and then we're going to do a season finale, and then we're going to end it for a little while
Come
because
on.
we've got some really cool
Who's
things.
excited to
that-
see the season finale?
Season
Everybody put like an
finale.
emoji with their hand
The
lifted.
team's probably ready for a season finale.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be really cool. We're looking forward to it. So you want to make sure that you just put it in your calendar. Join us for our season finale. It's going to be an amazing night as we just kind of round things out. Many of you know that like TV shows, they take a pause for the summertime, and we're
Yep.
going to do the same because we also have a lot of things as a church that we're moving into, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, especially this weekend coming up. So 2 more weeks of COVID Chronicles, then we're going to take a little break. You do not want to miss it. Tonight, after this session, we have a fun little project that we put together for you.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's called For the Hot Ones, if you guys have seen the challenge on YouTube. So we did our rendition of it with some of our pastors. So the first one tonight, you'll be seeing Devon and Pastor Seth. So make sure you stay tuned for that. It's going to be right after this at 8:30, and it is hilarious. Like, if you want a little bit of laughter in your life,
Come on.
For the Hot Ones. It
For
is
the
amazing.
hot ones.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great.
I haven't even seen it yet.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, if you want to see Pastor Seth
We're gonna
cry,
see Pastor Seth cry.
this is your moment.
And,
For the hot ones.
This is a cool little project that the team put together just to have like fun. I don't know about you, but like we're all just
Yep.
having a little bit of fun and a little bit of laughter.
That's
we
right.
had a blast last week. I got to tell you, I love the COVID Chronicles. Like I really wouldn't care if nobody watched. If we were just talking to ourselves on a Thursday night, I'd be okay with it because this is just fun. Like for me, this is a lot of fun. So I just love the way that this is set up. So that's that's the other thing. And then make sure that you join us for service. Hop on to our online campus this Sunday. 10 a.m. You want to make sure that you do not miss that. We've got some special announcements that we're going to be making just to let everybody know kind of where we're at as a church moving forward. There is a lot of changes happening, a lot of changes happening. So you want to make sure that you hop in, show up to church, online campus, invite somebody, share it, do everything that you need to do so that you can get caught up on some of the things that are happening, some of the things that are in front of us. And then as well, we're going to begin a brand new series called Sight Unseen.
You don't want to miss it.
It's going to be crazy good.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah, crazy good. So Sight Unseen,
Yeah.
and you'll see a lot of information about it, and just kind of some teasers and some trailers coming out this week to get you pumped for Sight Unseen.
Yeah.
How to have faith in uncertain
Come
moments.
on.
That's what it's going to be about.
Yes.
That's
amazing.
what faith is. Faith for uncertain moments. So that's
Come
going to be a lot of cool. So a lot of cool. That's what that's going to be. A lot of cool. All right, Ephesians chapter 2. That's where we're going tonight. I feel like I need a neck brace on with this thing in front of me right now.
man.
Okay, Ephesians chapter 2. I'm going to play
good.
with it all night long. And my wife's like, I can tell you what she's thinking right now. Keep your hands down.
Oh,
Husband,
man.
keep your hands down right now. Okay, Ephesians chapter 2. And we're looking at verses 19 to 22 tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun with this one that we're going to talk about, and it's going to be really challenging as well. So y'all get ready for what that's going to look like. So here goes. This is Paul writing to the church at Ephesus. He says this, "So then you are no longer foreigners and strangers, but fellow citizens with the saints and members of God's household." All right? Built on the foundation of the apostles and the prophets, with Christ Jesus himself as the cornerstone. In him, the whole building being
whole
put
thing.
together grows into a holy temple in the Lord. In him you are also being built together for God's dwelling in the Spirit. So what we want to look at tonight, what we want to deal with tonight, is we want to talk around the idea of COVID connections.
Come on.
COVID
connections.
connections. How to stay connected in
Yeah.
the COVID world that
on.
we are in right now. And so we're gonna jump right into this. We got a lot of ground to cover tonight. And I think Andrew's I'm gonna do the first one, and then Andrew's gonna jump into a few as well. But tonight, what we really want to dance with is we're gonna look at like how do we stay connected in COVID moments.
Yeah.
Right? Like we have all of this stuff happening right now where we're being told like social distance and not be around each other and all this other stuff. And listen, I value the reality of what we're in, but at the same time, we've got this piece of scripture in Ephesians that tells us like we are a community of people being built together, and that we are a body. There's so many moments like this, and so I'm just acutely aware, especially as a pastor, that the future of the church, especially the future of those of us who call ourselves Christ followers, like we can't stay in this space.
Yeah.
Like I just got to be very real about that right now. Like we can't stay in this space. We're not going to stay in this space.
Yep.
And so we want to talk a little bit tonight about how do we stay connected in COVID moments. And there's going to be some tongue-in-cheek stuff that we're going to say, and we might step on some PC boundary lines tonight.
Yep.
But this is COVID after dark. So let us do it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And if we offend you, you can email Andrew at thewellslc.com.
Wow. There it is. There it is. I was waiting for it.
It's right there. All right. So let's look at the first reality. Let's talk some practical truths and ideas that will help us stay connected and stay better connected in COVID moment. Here's the first one. We have to decide that divided is not an option.
Come on. Yeah.
We have to decide that divided is not an option. And see, COVID hasn't just socially distanced us, it has severely divided us.
Wow.
I want us to think about that. COVID has not just socially distanced us, it has severely divided us. This is a reality that we have to contend with right now. This is one of the greatest impacts that I've actually seen taking place in this moment that we've been in. People are more scared of each other, suspect of each other, disrespectful of each other, and generally closed off to each other more than I've ever seen before.
So good.
And we can think like, oh, it's it's been that way, and it's just inciting this more, or it's just revealing it more, and that's a possibility. Like obviously, stress reveals cracks, right? Like stress reveals what's there that we have more decorum in less stressful moments. But all the same, I've just seen it heightened so much. Like I've seen this this anger and this frustration towards each other, and like we haven't even done anything to each other.
Yep.
Right? And stress will do that for sure. But the thing that I've noticed the most in this COVID moment is that it's divided us. It hasn't just been a virus, right? It's been division. It's been a different sickness that's kind of come out in this moment. And I gotta just tell you, from a pastor's heart right now, like I'm over it.
Yep.
I'm done with the division.
Yep. Come on.
Like hashtag that, done with division.
Done with it.
You know what I'm saying? And like, listen, we can follow social distance protocols and we can do all those things like that, but I do not think that those type of protocols should create another protocol called division.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think one of the things that we need to understand, if we're going to be connected in COVID moments, if we're going to do relationship, if we're going to do life, we've got to decide right now that division is not an option.
Yep.
Like division is not an option. I'm seeing a lot of stuff right now where people are starting to, I'm reading a lot of blogs right now, listening to a lot of podcasts right now, listening to different things like this. There's a lot of leadership coming out right now. And the interesting thing that we have to contend with, and like jump in on this if you're seeing this, these guys are like nodding their heads. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. But like we gotta turn the tide on this thing. And just because somebody's potentially not making the same decision as you are making in this moment doesn't mean they hate you or otherwise hate the world.
Yep. Yep.
Like we're all making different decisions. We're going to potentially disagree with one another's decisions, or it's not going to look the way that we want it to. I'm just going to get cozy right here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just put my.
It's COVID after dark.
I need some chamomile tea.
Put your feet up.
Anyways, it's COVID after dark, right?
COVID after dark.
I feel like I need like a robe on if it's going to be COVID after dark.
great.
So
Yeah.
Anyways, but I digress.
Oh my gosh.
But all I'm saying is like, listen, we can all make the decisions that we're going to make about different things, but like, I wonder if we can make it so it doesn't divide us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it doesn't divide us. And that's what we're starting to see right now is this anger and this frustration and this tension. And I think if we're going to stay connected to one another, if we're, whether it's being like connected to your neighbor, connected to a spouse, connected to a friend, connected to just general people in our community, man, we've got to wage war on that thing as well.
Come on.
It's not just dealing with the virus; it's dealing with division.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I don't know. Is that something that you've seen or?
Yeah,
or
no, I just see it all the
experienced?
time. I think that there's so many things happening in our world, and there's so many people's opinions. And I think when you have your own opinion, it can choose to divide rather than continue to connect. And I think that's what we're talking about, connection here. And I think it's the one thing that, like, honestly, it's the one thing that the enemy from the beginning has wanted to do, right? He wants to divide his people. He wants to divide all of us. And so I think that we have to be aware of this thing, and we have to be conscientious of it and be like, okay, no, just because I may disagree with what you're doing, I still can connect with you. Right. I don't have to, like, I can agree to disagree. Like, you know, having that mentality of like, okay, well, we're still going to connect in this moment, because the reality is our world is going against us. Even if you talk about being Christ follower, if you talk about being a Christian, our world is going against us so much. And I think that if we're not careful, like, it can divide us and separate us rather than connect us.
Yep. absolutely.
And so I think that's really good.
Yeah. And I think the world's gone the direction of division.
Yep.
And the church has to go the direction of unification.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Even if we potentially disagree with each other on different things,
Yep.
whether this moment or many other moments that can divide us, especially with opinion and thought and everything like that. So that's the first truth that we want to just encourage you with tonight is we've got to decide that divided is not an option. And we cannot allow, just because we're socially distanced, doesn't mean that we need to be divided. And so that's the first truth tonight that we wanted to work through.
All right. Number 2 is this. Everybody got your notepads out? Connection is the product of purpose, not proximity. Connection is the product of purpose, not proximity.
Amen.
And I think proximity is, I think sometimes we mix up proximity. We talk about, if I'm in the same room or if I'm in the same family with you, then I'm in connection with you. But the reality is that proximity is not the source of connection.
Right.
It is not the thing that it's like, okay, just because I'm in the same household with you doesn't mean I can connect with you. And I think that a lot of times we've treated this issue as like a 6-foot distance reality. Like we're like, hey, like we're in proximity with you, but we're not connected with you. And I think that if we're not careful, that even in your households, let's be honest, let's be real. A lot of us have been cooped up in our houses with our spouses and with our family and with our kids. And if we're not careful, we can treat our kids and our family and our spouses like a 6 feet reality.
Right. Yep.
Instead of, okay, no, just because I'm in proximity with you doesn't mean I'm connected to you.
Right.
And I think a lot of times, like, we have to choose to fight this on a daily. This was before COVID. This is let's be honest, like, this was pre-COVID, but I think the reality of COVID kind of just put some fire on it and it kind of just made it come to life a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because even for me, I have to battle this every time I go home.
Yep.
I literally do. Like, just because I'm in the same household as my wife doesn't mean I'm connected to her.
Right.
You know, and I think that if we're not careful, we can, like, get into this reality of, like, kind of saying, okay, I'm in proximity, so I'm close and I'm connected. But in reality, we're not.
Right.
And I think that, in this season of life, if we're really going to get to and be able to connect with people, we have to get a hold of this reality. That connection is not the product of purpose, connection is the product of purpose, not proximity.
Right.
And I think that we use it as an excuse.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I've kind of used COVID as an excuse. Like, oh, I don't have to go get to know that person right now because I have a 6-foot reality and I'm have Zoom fatigue and I don't want to get on Zoom with them. I don't want to get on FaceTime with them.
Right.
And so I just kind of like, okay, like I'm gonna hold you at arm's length.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna hold you at a 6-foot reality.
Yeah.
But God's like, no, you still have to connect with each other.
Yeah.
Like I think it's gonna be kind of awkward that first moment when we open up service. Honestly, like, I think it's going to be like kind of like a dance. Like, can I hug you? Can I not hug you?
It's going to be like an
can
8th
I talk
grade,
to you?
yeah, like
can
an
I high
8th
five
grade
you?
dance.
Can I not? Like, what's happening? We're dancing and it's kind of awkward. Why? Because we haven't chosen to be in connection with each other.
Yeah.
We've seen proximity as closeness when in actual reality it's not.
Right. Like girls over there, guys over
Yeah.
there.
It's all separated. Everybody's separated. Like, it's all divided. Like, it's just a crazy reality. But
100%.
We have to get a hold of this thing. Like, just because you're in proximity with me doesn't mean you're connected.
Yeah.
And I think if anything, like, right now, it's the time to be connected more than ever before.
Yeah, 100%.
1,000%. It's like we have to be connected in this season.
Yep.
So I don't know.
I
if
love
you've
how you
experienced-
wound up the
1,000%. You like that? Not just 100.
Infinity.
Yes.
Sick burn, bro. Okay.
Oh man.
No, it's so true, and I think you're right. Social distancing gave us an easy scapegoat for staying disconnected.
Absolutely.
Like I'm social distancing right now, and it's like, okay, cool, social distance, but don't disconnect, don't isolate. And I think that's why I said we've got to just talk real about this. I want to press it a little bit further. We were talking about this before the can we call it a show tonight? Before tonight, even when it comes to church online, this is the thing that we're starting to notice, right? There's actually statistics happening right now after Easter. All the churches that have been online, everybody's gathering information and everything like that. Online attendance has dropped 25% the week after Easter, and then it dropped another 9%, and then it dropped another 8%, and it's dropping, because, like, let's be honest, I think many of you watching tonight would say the same thing that I'm saying, which is, like, the church is meant to be a gathering place. Like, yes, this is a great option for sure, but, like, the power in the church is connection, right? Yep. And at the end of the day, here's what I've come to notice. Even when it comes to church online, so many of us are already disconnected. Right? The issue is not proximity. The issue is intention and a desire to stay connected no matter what. So even if it's online right now, we have to have the desire to stay connected in some form or fashion. And then we can say that we want to get back to live services, but the truth is that for many of us, we're going to show up for 2 weeks, and then we will be back to disconnected because it's not a proximity issue, it's a heart issue.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? We can say, and I think I'm acutely aware of that as we all drop off when it comes to like our attending church online. And I know it's hard, but man, for so many people at the beginning of this thing, they were like, I'm connected. Oh, thank you for the connection. Thank you for the connection. You're amped out of your mind. But then, like, I'm just doing other things and I'm disconnected once again. But that's just because it's really a heart issue. Intentionality, purpose is what keeps us connected, not proximity.
I mean, let's go take it a step further. It's about introverts too.
Right.
It's literally like, hey, like some people are going to come out of this and decide to stay in their homes and not be connected because it's easier. And I think that sometimes we feel like, okay, like I just want to just sit back and I'll be in my home and I'll just do everything normal. I can watch from online. I can watch from a distance. Right? But at the end of the day, it's like we have to choose to be close. Like we can't be introverted.
Right.
Like God didn't design us that way. Like let's be honest. Like God didn't design you to be in isolation and to be alone in your own home. He designed us for community. He designed us for connection. So I think it's really important.
I was actually talking to a counselor this week about this issue. And we were talking about like Zoom fatigue, and we were talking about, but really it's not even Zoom fatigue that we're experiencing, it's technological fatigue. It's technology fatigue. And we were having this really like cool conversation about like what's happening with technology right now. And remember when video games really started to come like on the wire about and everybody's having the conversations of what it does to kids' heads and brains and everything like that. So I want you to think about this. That conversation dropped off the map all of a sudden. As technology went further, it dropped off the map. But here's the point. The study still remains the same. Technology alters your mind in a certain way. Like there's different things that are firing. There's different chemicals that are going off in our minds. And so I was talking to this counselor friend of mine this week, like for myself, and we were just talking, but just a heads up on that. And so anyway, we're having this conversation. He was telling me about the difference. It's not just Zoom fatigue, it's technology fatigue. Because there is something that happens when we actually get in space together. Right? Like our body chemically reacts just when we become, like when we're in sight of each other. There's chemicals that go off in our minds. There's things that are happening to our, like literally being in the space of each other, it changes the disposition of our body. And why? Because it's actually the way that we have been built. And so while it's not a proximity issue, what we're talking about here, it still is an intention issue because you can be in proximity and not connect. Or we can be in proximity and we can connect. And I think that's a really important thing for us.
And actually on that note, I wrote this down and I was kind of just looking up and studying connection. And this one thought came up and I just wrote it down. It says this: the power of human connection, that warm feeling of human connection, is so important in maintaining our overall emotional and physical health. In fact, dozens of studies have shown that people who have satisfying relationships are happier, have fewer health problems, and live longer.
Praise the Lord.
That right there, that says it all. Like we were designed for connection. We were designed to be together. We were designed to be in community. We were designed to hug each other. We were designed to high five. All those different things. We were designed for connection. And I think that like oftentimes like we just feel like, okay, well, I just want to be isolated. I just want to be by myself. But like, no. God didn't design you that way. Like you may be naturally like wanting to do that, but the reality is God didn't design you that way. Like God designed you to be together. God designed us to be in connection with each other. And so I thought that was just awesome. Like the power of human connection.
And I actually think like, I love this point. I think this is a really important point that we need to, like, that's why we actually have these guys staying up here. Like, if you ever wonder, like, why are these guys on stage? Like,
what are they doing?
Like, what are they doing up here? These guys can tell you, like, shake your head. Like, when we made the change from just being an isolated person up here talking to having people on stage, it changed everything.
Absolutely.
It changed everything. Absolutely. It changed the atmosphere. It changed the room space. And so there's like a lot of debate like right now. Like, what is the church? Like, we can say pithy statements like the church is not a building. Yes, we know that. The church is not a building. But it's amazing what happens when the church meets together in the building.
Come on.
Like that's what we fail to realize. So we can't minimize at the end of the day the importance of gathering together. We can't minimize at the end of the day the importance of connection. It's not just about having butts and seats. It's actually about being in proximity to each other with intentionality. And when we do that, it's amazing what happens. It's amazing that's where life change. That's the juice right there. That's where it all takes place.
So good.
So I love that point. I think it's one of my favorite favorite truths tonight about this whole connection issue. Number 3, here's the third thing. Remember, we're just talking about truths and things that we need to understand in order to help us stay connected and get better connected. Number 3, here's the third one. Don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk. Simple.
I don't even know if we need to talk about that.
Oh, man. It's so true, though.
Isn't it?
It really is. I just find myself getting mad sometimes. And I'm like, why am I being mad right now? Like, why?
Yeah.
I just frustrated and all these different things. And I'm short and like, all the, like, I'm
Oh,
just like.
Short. I thought you were short.
No,
Sorry.
no, no.
I was like, like a legit.
Like I'm mad that I'm short.
I legit thought that.
That's awesome. No, but like,
I was
honestly.
like, oh, he's really upset that he's
I'm
short.
really upset.
Oh, man.
Like, why? I could be 6 feet.
I never knew that was an issue with
Oh,
you.
man. No, but like, yeah. I mean, it's simple, but it's reality.
It's true.
Don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk. I heard a story, and I'll keep names out of it and everything like that, but someone was telling me a story towards the beginning of this thing that they were standing in line at a store, and they unintentionally broke the 6-foot rule, right? And the person that they engaged, like, kind of got into their bubble space, turned around and like tried to karate kick chop them.
Wow.
And
that
said
would've been
6
interesting.
feet, and they were like, oh, whoa, okay, and like I get it, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't get it.
Right.
Because like, don't be a jerk.
Yep.
I know some of you are like, are these pastors talking right now? Yes.
Yeah, we are.
100%.
1,000%.
Infinity%.
I had to. Okay, all right.
So good.
I like it.
So this is like,
Oh, man.
it's like a weird state. There you go. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Rich. So when you have that going on, like I do think, honestly, let me just say this statement, and this is an internal belief system. I think our world would be a better place if we all just like back down from being a jerk.
Yeah.
I think we believe that we get more done by being a jerk, and we don't.
So
Like,
true.
how much of the world would change just simply if we changed our demeanor on things?
Come on. Gotta preach.
Like, isn't it true, though? It's so weird that we, in one sentence, can say, it's all about love, it's all about love, and literally 3 seconds later, act like a jerk.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, it's like, well, wait, I thought it was all about love. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I think it's this really crazy mix of stuff we've got to. And again, I understand it. We have pressure, we have stress, we have all those things going on right now. But still, I think a lot of the world's problems could be solved if we would just tone it back a little bit.
Yep. Absolutely.
On some of these realities. So that's the third point. Really easy if you're taking notes tonight.
Don't be a jerk. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fourth one is this. It's understand that fear fractures. Understand that fear fractures.
Yeah.
It fractures connection and relationships. It drives us to make selfish and self-preserving decisions.
Yep.
Fear fractures.
Yep.
And almost convolutes our judgment in our personal lives as well. Let's think about this. When COVID first hit, okay, everybody went in panic mode.
Yep.
Like, we went into fear mode. Like, I'm guilty of it myself. I'm like buying like canned food that I don't even eat. I'm like, what is happening? I'm thinking like it's the end of the world. We got earthquakes happening, and I'm like, Jesus, like what's going on? You know, like I'm just like, okay, like this is the end times. Lord, take me up. I'm just rapid. Just take me. You know, all these different things. I'm like buying all this stuff and like going to the store. Like listen, like let's be real. We were out of toilet paper in our stores. We were out of groceries in our store. Fear fractures.
Yeah.
It literally, like, it will cripple us in our thinking. It cripples us in our belief system. It cripples us in everything that we do. Like people were ordering bidets because we're out of toilet paper. Like we're serious.
So
like,
true.
It was that
It's
like
so
that
true.
serious. Everybody's panicking like it's the end of the world.
Bro, I ordered a bidet. I'm just
Oh
kidding.
my
I'm just
gosh.
kidding. I did not do that.
Oh, man.
It was Seth. Seth said it. He's like,
Oh,
it
you
was
did.
me.
Look, Seth Simmons ordered a bidet. Like, right there. Like, we panicked. Everybody was in chaos. But, like, I got needs, he says. I got needs. But seriously, I think fear, like, it has this way of, like, fracturing our connection and fracturing our moment. It fractures our thoughts. Like, it fractures everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think if we're not careful, like, we can, like, we can take on this fear. And, I mean, we're, like, 8 weeks into COVID, and everybody's a little bit more calm. Everybody's relaxed. We made a comment today when we were going out. Like, everybody's out and about now. Like, there's thousands of people at the park. All these different things. Why? Because they've chosen not to be in fear anymore.
Right.
And it literally will, like, at the end of the day, like, fear will cripple our connection.
Yeah. And I think, can we take it deep for a second? I know we're having fun, and, like, we're keeping it lighthearted, but,
come on.
Like, this is my issue. I want to take it, like, let's just go.
Yeah, go there.
Let's go
deep.
there. I think one of the greatest reasons that we fear is because we don't have a proper understanding on life and death.
Wow.
Like, let's just be really, like, we do not have a proper understanding on eternity. And I think that's really what it comes down to, because you see a difference in it. Like, we've got to come to the place where we have a better grip on this reality, especially as Christ followers. There shouldn't be a fear that grips us.
Come on.
Like Paul the Apostle would say it like this: for me to live is Christ, to die is gain.
Yep.
That's what he'd say in Philippians. Like, one of my most favorite one of my most favorite passages in the Bible, because he puts it into context of, and he wasn't being flippant, he wasn't being cavalier about it. He just understood something at a different level, right? In Corinthians, he would say, "Oh, death, where is your sting?" Right? And why? Because at the end of the day, Jesus has overcome this, right? Through the cross, Jesus overcame. So it's not just like faith over fear, but it's like actually perfect love, the Bible tells us, right? Casts out all fear. And it's not like the perfect love that we have to understand is talking about what Christ did on the cross. And because of what Christ did on the cross, we have secured eternity. And so therefore, especially as believers, there's literally no reason to fear. For me to live is Christ, but to die is gain. And to have that perspective, I think, actually changes the reality of it. And I think that's why, especially, I think the world can look at Christ followers sometimes and go, man, they're acting so cavalier. Because we do or should have that mindset of like, listen, eternity is secured. So we have to understand that fear fractures. If we buy into fear, if we give into fear, it fractures so much of who we are. It fractures our heart. It fractures our mind. It fractures our relationships. I love what you said, that it makes self-preserving decisions that we make. You never want to approach an animal that is backed into a corner and is scared.
Wow.
Think about that, right? Like, even if it's a gerbil, you do not want to approach it. It will bite you. Right? And so at the end of the day, the response of an animal that's backed into a corner and fearful is never good. Let alone a human being with all the stuff that we carry. You back us into a corner and we're fearing, and then somebody approaches you. That person being a jerk is the last of your problems.
Right.
You guys see what I'm talking about? So I think like, while we're having fun and everything in all of this, I think we have to measure out and deal with that reality. Is that fear is not something that we need to be controlled by or live according to.
Right.
Because as we've been loved by Christ, perfect love casts out all fear.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, if this is something that we should grab a hold of, especially as Christ followers, like we should be the ones that are like solid. Like, we should be the ones where people are going to come to us and be like, why aren't you shaken by this? It's because why? Like, we know. Like,
so
we shouldn't have any fear. Like, there should be no fear in us. Like, people are wanting that type of, like, reality in their lives. And, like, honestly, like, when things come our way, like, we should not be shaken by the circumstances that are around us. We should be rooted and grounded in who we know that we are in Christ. And say, okay, there's no fear that can come near me. There's nothing that can paralyze me. Like, there's nothing that can stop me. Why? Because I know my purpose. I know what God has for me. I know who I am. So I'm going to stand firm in that. And I think that's something that we can really, honestly, like, that I want to grab a hold of, even for myself and my family. And as we come back from this, out of this COVID reality, like, when we all come back and join together, like, hey, like, listen, like, there is no fear. Like, let's love on each other. Like, let's connect together. You know, like, no matter what circumstances come our way, let's choose to connect.
Like, have you ever, like, try to think about this for a minute, because I hope you can tell us a story that embarrasses you. Have you ever made a decision out of fear that really, in any intents and purposes, like, turned out well?
Man, you put me on the spot.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when we make the decisions in fear, it's never good. Like, when you watch a scary movie, okay? I don't watch scary movies.
I do.
But somebody watches scary movies. But I've heard once that in scary movies, right? So you watch a scary movie, let's be real about this, and maybe you've been the person that jumps off the couch and starts yelling at the person that in fear went the wrong direction, right? They ran up the stairs and you're like, why are you running up the stairs, run out the front of the house.
Yeah.
Like you're angry at them because they're so scared they're making a dumb decision. That's what I'm talking about. And so many times in our fear, we have a tendency to make bad decisions, bad calls.
Yeah.
We say things that we never would have said if we were in like right-mindedness, right?
Yep.
And I think that's what's fear is a powerful weapon.
Yep.
And it's a powerful tool.
Yeah. I mean, Seth bought a bidet out of fear, so.
It's true.
I mean, he can tell us a story about it.
Talk to us about the fear-laden
The
bidet.
fear that crippled you to buy a bidet.
Yes.
A delicate flower.
What I want to know is, did the bidet wash your fear away?
Yeah.
That's
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man.
COVID after dark.
COVID after dark. No, but I can't think of a specific time, but I do know that there's been many times that I've made decisions that, like, I've made it out of fear because my mind was convoluted and my mind was so, like, wrapped up in worry and anxiety that I just acted out of anxiety and fear rather than acting out of, like, hey, like, a sound mind. Right. Or, like, just acting out of those things. Like, there's been a lot of moments in my life where those things have happened, you know, and I look back at them and I'm like, wow, like, but, like, even in my wrong decisions and even in my actions of fear, like, God was still there. Right. And he, like, it just speaks to me over and over again. Like, even though we will have moments of being worried, we will have moments of being fearful, but it's like we should look back in the moments and say, wow, like, God, you were still there. Right. Like, you were right there with me in my fear. You were right there with me in my worry. Yeah. And I think sometimes, like, we can get so mixed up. Like, we'll leave COVID and be like, wow, like, what a reality. Like, that was like, wow, I was fearful for a moment, but I'm still here. I'm still alive. I'm still breathing. And, like, all the decisions that we made after COVID, like, in anxiety and panic and worry, we'll look back on and be like, wow, like, I shouldn't have made that decision.
It's kind of like riding a roller coaster.
It really is.
Like, you know that anxiety that you feel, like everything that, like I hate roller coasters, guys. Like full stop. Bleh. Like, they're no way, right? Yeah. And because what I don't actually like about roller coasters is it's actually not the roller coaster that I don't like. I do not like how I feel standing in line to get on the roller coaster that I've never been on before. That's actually I hate having, I hate anxious, like, weird sweats and things like that you get because you're so worked up and you're so fearful, and then your mind starts wandering. I'm a very image-driven person, so, like, literally they're going around the loop-de-loop and they're all safe, but I'm imagining them falling out of the roller coaster
one at a time.
One at a time. like that stuff, and it just it freaks my mind out, and so I struggle with that. But that's the issue that so many of us feel, and then we make decisions out of that, right? So could you imagine, like, I'm getting on a roller coaster, but many of us are feeling like that. We're feeling that fearful, and we're just out in the world making decisions out of that place. Yeah, that's like a recipe for disaster. Like, personally and corporately. Right? It's a recipe for disaster, is making decisions out of that place. So I think we need to understand that fear fractures. And so if we understand that fear fractures, then the antidote is faith builds up. Faith builds up. Come on. And this new series that we're going to go into is all about faith. And what does it look like, and how does it play itself out in our lives? And I think it's going to be a really important one as we head into what is going to be a new season. Absolutely. And I think it's going to be a great season. Regardless of what we're hearing, regardless of what's being said, I think this is going to be an amazing season. God's going to do some of the most significant things that we've ever seen. So that's what I'm believing for. So that's our conversation tonight on how to stay connected. And that last point, understand that fear fractures. Fear, I think, is one of the leading causes of death to relationships. Mm-hmm. As long as we fear each other, we could probably go off on this for a whole lot longer. When we fear each other and we live fearfully, it will fracture every relationship that we have. I think it's one of the leading causes.
Because what is COVID doing? It's bringing fear. It's at a 6-foot distance. Like, you can't touch me. You can't, love on me. Like, it's this fear of keeping each other disconnected.
And then it compounds even more. And then all the stuff starts coming out. And I think it's one of the leading causes of death to relationships. So good. That's our conversation for tonight. Come on. We love you guys. We're so pumped. 2 weeks. 2 more weeks. One more week next week, and then we're gonna have a grand finale, like a season ender. Season ender. It's gonna be exciting, fun. Yeah. We don't know what's coming your way. It's gonna be. We might show up at your house at your front door. You might have a worshiper show up at your house. You never know. What? That would be awesome. We'll see. Yeah. It's gonna be fun. So be prepared. For anything.
For anything.
Yeah. We love you guys so
Yes.
much. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Now, get ready to check out the hot ones.
For the hot ones.
For the hot ones.
Yes, it's going to be amazing.
We'll see you next week.
Hey, what's up, Well Fam? I hope that you've enjoyed this message so far. If so, there's a few things that we want you to do. First, subscribe. We have a lot of new content coming your way this year. Second, share this video with friends and family that you know would be impacted by it. And last, if you would like to partner with the mission of the Well and what God is doing here in Salt Lake City, you can give by using the link below.